All right, welcome back. So, the title of this mini lecture is The American Military Experience After Vietnam. Now, there's a lot to this, so let's get into this. So, we're going to talk again about 5 things that we need to be thinking about when we go to learn about this. First, PTSD. All right, so First World War, you've got the discussion of what they called shell shock. Second World War, you got the discussion of what's called combat fatigue or battle fatigue. By the time you get to Vietnam, there's some discussion of post-traumatic stress. Again, a greater recognition that either traumatic situation of combat or other forms of traumatic situations do result in lifelong psychological change and transformation, and as a result, there needs to be treatment for individuals. So I would argue that since the 1970s, this has become a bigger part of the military experience and the story surrounding military history. Number 2, Rambo. So if you've never seen the Rambo series, and you don't really need to see the Rambo series, so it makes its way into film by the end of the 70s, early 80s. Sylvester Stallone plays Rambo, the title character. Now, he is a Vietnam veteran who, when pushed, snaps and starts violently lashing out at individuals. So the part of military history is understanding sort of the image of veterans and the historical image of veterans and the treatment of veterans. And the Rambo stories, though interesting and somewhat sort of supporting American bravado in the tail end of the Cold War period, also highlighted these stereotypes about Vietnam-era veterans that they were, at some level, all mentally troubled. All right. Number 3, Agent Orange. Agent Orange. Now, Agent Orange was a defoliant. It was dropped in the jungles of Vietnam. The idea was to defoliate the jungles to be able to better expose insurgents to be able to go after enemy. Now, this particular chemical, though, causes a number of illnesses and has caused long-term illnesses for those who were exposed to it. And since the 1970s and early 80s, Vietnam veterans and their families have been lobbying the federal government for better aid and support, and have gotten some support for this, but not a lot. And there has also, of course, been efforts in Vietnam itself, because you have many individuals not connected to the war, but generationally after, who have been exposed to it, who would and have been looking for assistance and compensation. All right, number 4. Gulf War syndrome, similar exposures, late 80s, early 90s. You have a number of veterans of the Gulf War, first Gulf War, and they as well have been lobbying the VA and Congress and for support. Number 5, sexual assault. Sexual assault. All right, now, sexual violence is not new. The Me Too movement of the last few years is not a new thing to discuss the existence of rape and sexual violence within the military community. If we were to tell the story of military history in the 20th century, right, the importance of understanding sexual assault and sexual violence during World War I, during World War II, during Korea, during Vietnam itself, it is a part of that story. But it is in the last few years with the greater integration of branches of service from the 70s that had been holdovers from the 40s of women in a wide variety of roles. You have started to see women more open to reporting the sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, and rape and violence that has occurred against them. Now, of course, sexual violence is not singularly aimed at women, but the majority of it has been. And so a big part of, especially the last couple of years, is the publication of this, the discussion of this, as a part of understanding the military experience in recent history in the United States. Now, more, of course, needs to be done to make sure that these service members are protected, but again, this is a part of the story. For those who are interested in terms of more information on it, as it comes to history in the 20th century, Professor Mary Louise Roberts, her book, What Soldiers Do, is a pretty good look at this as it relates to World War II. All right, thank you so much.